Hey, good morning and welcome. My name is Casey Snow, and I'm glad to be here this morning to lead the welcome home ceremony for the public safety members who recently responded to the Palisades and Eaton fires. Let's begin the ceremony by standing to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. At this time, I'd like to take a moment of silence for the victims of the recent devastating fires. Thank you, and please be seated. Thank you for attending the El Segundo Fire and Police Department Service Recognition Ceremony. Your firefighters and police officers were called to help battle two of the worst fires in California history and to protect communities from, let's call them, unwanted visitors before and during the fire. I'd like to recognize our city leadership that is in attendance this morning. Mayor Chris Pimentel, Mayor Pro Tem Ryan Baldino, Council Member Drew Boyles, Council Member Lance Giroux, Council Member Michelle Keldorf, and our City Manager, Daryl George. Also, please help me welcome our Fire Chief, George Avery, and Police Captain Gil Sanchez. Now let's give a warm welcome to your El Segundo firefighters and police officers who responded to the fires. At this time, I would like to introduce the Mayor of El Segundo, Chris Pimentel, to say a few words at the podium.
Thank you very much, and welcome everyone. In El Segundo, we take great pride in our level of preparation for emergency events. There's no city in our region that staffs full-time emergency management. There's no city that takes the pride in the training, equipping, and staffing of our service providers in the manner that we do. We have a culture here that is preparation and service, and in moments like this, it shines. In the 5 years preceding this, we've seen innumerable disruptions, emergencies, and disasters. And every time, your police and your fire have responded to that. Their safety and the safety they provide for us is non-negotiable as a city. When the fires first began and we could see them on the news, I called the city manager. I said, "City manager, how are we responding to this?" He said, "The chiefs have already launched. We already have police ready to support, and we have fire on the scene." I would challenge you to find a city that responds with that level of immediate generosity. And at the same time, behind those deployed police and fire, we have police and fire here, ensuring the level of service and preparation does not deviate from these residents. So on behalf of the City Council, on behalf of the residents, on behalf of your other service providers here in the city, there is no moment that exemplifies service above self than our firemen on the front lines defending property, defending people, and our police defending people's livelihoods from the things they had to leave behind. So thank you all for being here. Thank you to our police and firefighters for their brave service, and I look forward to the rest of this ceremony. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you our City Manager, Daryl George.
Thank you, Casey. I certainly echo the mayor's comments in thanking, welcoming back our police and firefighters for dedicating their service to a very tragic situation. We have a number of what's called mutual aid agreements with our surrounding cities, LA City, LA County, and this particular occurrence certainly called for mutual aid from all around Los Angeles and even further. I even heard yesterday some of our fire folks from Chevron also participate. I want to thank them too. So I do give a great thank you also to the city council. So when the mayor says we immediately went into action on the ground in terms of deploying police and fire officials, the city council also declared an emergency ordinance so that we could, on behalf of the city, do our part to assist. A number of the elements of that emergency declaration included, for instance, waiving parking citations, allowing for short-term rentals, allowing the use of RVs for shelter for people that were dislocated, and a number of other things that were contained in that emergency declaration. So I think from a comprehensive standpoint, El Segundo was certainly there to help. And again, I just want to thank our police and fire, our city council, and all of you for doing what you can to deal with this very difficult situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. George. At this time, I'd like to bring up El Segundo Police Captain Gil Sanchez.
Good morning to everybody here. On behalf of Chief Rodriguez and the El Segundo Police Department, I just want to thank all the city leaders for taking the time to recognize both police and fire personnel that assisted in these fire efforts. Appreciation means a lot to our staff members to be acknowledged for their tremendous effort that they showed. Many put in a lot of hours on top of their daily primary duties to go up there and help all these victims that are up there and help stop all the other things that were going on besides the fires. They truly epitomize what good civic leadership looks like by allowing our personnel to do that. So I thank the city leaders. On behalf of Chief Rodriguez, I also want to commend all of our men and women of the police department for the hard work and extra hours they put in to assist all our allied agencies during these times. We value our relationship here at ESPD. With every person our officers encounter, we try to establish a solid relationship with them. It's very important to our department. It's vital that we are there to assist all our allied agencies in any way possible. Whenever ESPD is asked to help, the answer is always going to be yes. This time that we answer the call is for our brothers and sisters. Next time it could be them answering the call for us. I also want to give a great thank you to all of our non-sworn staff. They were here making sure that we're communicating with our citizens via social media, communicating at the front desk lobby when people were coming in to ask what was going on and what part we were playing, and answering the phones as well, and then making sure all of our equipment was there ready to go for our sworn staff. So a lot of times they go unmentioned, but I wanted to make sure that I mentioned our non-sworn staff as well. So I'm very proud of our police department, and I know Chief Rodriguez is as well, and thank you for this time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Captain Sanchez. Now I'd like to introduce our fire chief, George Avery.
Thanks, Chief Snow. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I just want to bring up some very important leadership characteristics about this fire. And if you look around and you see your firefighters and police officers, they exemplified these leadership characteristics. This was an absolute unreal, surreal time for all of us, and especially for those who suffered losses with their homes and lost their loved ones. I know all of us have lost somebody in our lives during the course, and no one can ever feel what we felt. And that's what these folks have felt during this absolute travesty. What I want to bring up is the word of duty and commitment. Your firefighters, as the mayor said, was there from the get-go. We were called on immediate need that was organized through our South Bay fire chiefs, and we responded so fast. We got there, and our firefighters, the firefighters that stand before you, fought fire, the most intense heat that you could ever imagine. Just picture 20 to 30 foot flames fed by 100-mile-an-hour winds, and they stood their ground. So when I see that and I hear that, and I drove through that area immediately after the fire was out, the devastation was unbelievable. All of you saw that on the news, and being there was just exemplified 100-fold on how tragic this event was. I also want to bring up unwavering bravery. They stood in the face of these flames without sleep for 50 hours. Could you imagine that? And they just kept fighting. They said they relied on their training, they relied on each other, and it just became muscle memory in terms of what their purpose was, because every day that they show up to work is their commitment to safety for our community. And they extended that leadership characteristic to the communities that they served during the fires. Another word I want to really highlight here is sacrifice and understanding. Are the families that were affected by these firefighters, their own families, that I heard from one of the wives who called me and said, you know, we never talk about when dad's out on a fire because, you know, the realistic aspect of that is so hard to contend with and hard to explain. And her child said, is daddy coming home? And there's no 100% assurity of that. But because of their training, because of their commitment to each other, they made sure that they were safe, and they kept the communities that they served incredibly safe from what they could do. And imagine what they faced at the time, and they stood their ground, and they fought that fire, and they were relentless. They did not leave, and they saved many homes. I also want to bring up community generosity, all of you. Since the beginning of the fire, the generosity this community has showed us was incredible. People came through our door minute after minute offering everything that they had. And they showed such heart. They showed such incredible passion, compassion for all of these people. So for all of you, we thank you, and I'd like to applaud all of you in this community and for your generosity. I do have a short story about our community and what it means in terms of generosity. Can I have Jenna and Serena please raise your hand? These are two admin staff that we have in Police and Fire, and they dedicated since the beginning of the fire to make sure that we had a purpose in generosity. There's a school in Brentwood that burned down, and those kids went to another school, and that school housed them. And they went there, and our folks asked for backpacks just so they could have some supplies. They asked for supplies for the teachers, and you would not believe the outpouring of supplies that we received that are sitting in our office right now after giving so many out. So they went up to Brentwood, and they went into the school, into the auditorium, and the teachers welcomed them, and they said, there's 2 boxes sitting at the top of the stage. That's what's left of our school. The entire school, there's 2 boxes left. So when they came in with backpacks that all of you generously donated, one of the children said, thank you so much, I get to have a backpack again. So imagine that from a child's perspective, that's what they latch onto, that's what they remember, is that they can open up their backpack and learn, because that's what they want to do. I just want to also recognize our police and firefighters here, police officers and firefighters, that all of you are proud of, that I as a fire chief am incredibly proud of, that your firefighters, so highly trained, were willing to do anything it took to save property and to save lives. So can we please give another applause to your firefighters and your police officers. That's the end of my comments. Thank you, Chief Snow.
Thank you, Chief Avery. One of our engines that was deployed to the Palisades Fire was engine company number 32. I'd like to introduce the fire captain of that crew, Brian Partlow, to discuss some of the things that they went through during their 2-week deployment to the Palisades Fire.
Wow, Chief, I don't know if there's much to say after that. After that. That was pretty good. You know, I was asked to do this, and we don't really do this. I hate to say that. You know, I get trained to come out and serve you guys and help the best that I can. You know, I get trained, as we say in the fire department, to put the wet stuff on the red stuff, right? But I'm very humbled by this, and it wasn't just me out there. It was all of you guys out there. It was city council. It was utility workers, the gas companies, all the volunteers. Somebody told me it takes a village to raise a family. And it took a village to continue to rebuild and do what we've been doing out there. It wasn't just me. But I did write something to the best of my ability, so I'm going to read it here, okay? So Mayor, council members, friends and members of the public who are here, thank you for this. This is an honor and very humbling. This is a bit out of my norm, like I've already told you, and awkward for me, because as a profession, we don't usually talk about what we do. We respond to the call, we manage the task at hand, and then we go back to the station. Typically, we debrief around the kitchen table, and usually this has to do with some kind of dark humor or jokes, and it has to do with coffees and donuts. Unlike people think, firemen do like donuts. It's not just the police, okay? I'm sorry, guys. From a young age, I always dreamed of becoming a firefighter. Growing up here in the city of El Segundo, my aspiration was to serve as a firefighter in the very community that made me who I am today. This career has opened up many doors to incredible experiences, many that I could never even imagine in my life. One such event was this one that we're talking about today, is the Palisades Fire. As the El Segundo Fire Department, we're part of the Master Mutual Aid System, which enables us to assist the state from the Oregon border all the way down to San Diego. Whenever there's an incident or a call, we help, we respond, we don't ask, we just go. This system ensures that whenever we face an emergency in our own city, assistance is readily available in return. So real quick, as a strike team, it consists of 5 engines and 1 battalion chief, and we can deploy for anywhere up to 14 days to 21 days, depending on how long the incident needs. So when the fire erupted, we were deployed as a strike team to the Malibu area. Our assignment was to protect a designated zone extending from Cannon Dune all the way down to Palisades proper. Our primary objective was to limit the fire spread and damage to the structures that were not yet involved. So you can imagine, people that have driven Malibu, that's a long stretch from Cannon Dune all the way down to Palos Verdes. Typically when we have a fire in town here, you're gonna have anywhere from 5 to 10 engines and 2 trucks and rescues. Now we're talking 5 engines to cover that whole area. In the 20 years that I've been in the fire service, this is the worst I've seen, and what makes this different is that this is truly a conflagration of a magnitude compared to Lahaina, Hawaii, or the Palisades Fire in Northern California. There was fire and winds up to 70 to 100 miles an hour. Now, I don't know if you can imagine being in that, but when you're spraying water, it's literally making a 90-degree angle, let alone the embers that are coming at your face. And so our task for 36 hours was to pick and choose what we could to defend and then move on and then hop back and go back. The city of Los Angeles, during this time, responding from the Palisades incident, we moved from Malibu to the Mendeville Canyon area and back to Brentwood and then back to Palisades proper, defending and moving on. In the Mandeville Canyon, our objective was to prep and defend the homes for hotspots and fires running in the steep terrain. This assignment consisted of prepping homes for a potential fire front coming towards us. These tasks included anywhere from spraying homes with foam to removing anything flammable away from the structures and clearing as much brush away from these homes as possible to make them salvageable. As our deployment neared the end, we focused on the Palisades proper, specifically the areas around Chautauqua and the Sunset Boulevard area. Here we were tasked with facilitating the safe repopulation of the Palisades and ensuring it was secure for residents to return. This included shutting off water and gas meters, because you got to remember, as the fire had swept through, it left blocks and blocks with no homes, but the gas and water meters were still going. We assisted utility crews with whatever they needed, clearing debris and downed trees, which had caused additional damage to structures caused by the increased winds. Throughout the day, we encountered many residents who had managed to return and see their homes, and our role at this time transferred not to just being firefighters to being therapists and to being there for whatever they needed. The amazing part about my job and what the city's given me, and I don't take for granted day in, day out, and it's the same thing I would do for all of you, and I'm sure it's the same for the PD and for all of our guys, is I have the opportunity to bring some light and hopefully take a little bit of that pain that you guys are feeling, even for just the moment. And I'm hoping I'm explaining this correctly, but it's an amazing opportunity that I get to do, and it humbles me and it makes me very proud about what I do every day. So one of the things that we were able to do was we were able to meet and confront a woman, and we were going through her ashes, and we were able to uncover an engagement ring from her, which is no small feat in some of the ashes that you were seeing. So we grabbed one of our carry-alls, which we use, for lack of a better term around the fire station, we call them a burrito bag, because when we carry patients, they kind of look like a burrito after being rolled up. But we were able to sift through and find her engagement ring. And that was one of the highlights for our trip, and I would say highlights for our crew, was to be able to bring some joy to her. But I want to say thank you for this. This is truly humbling. I'm sure you can tell by the way my voice sounds. And at El Segundo at the station, what we say is, you know, El Segundo stands for the second, right? But here in El Segundo, we're second to none. And we truly believe that. And I thank you for letting me go.
Thank you, Brian. The other engine that we sent to the Palisades Fire was Engine Company 31. At this time, I'd like to invite firefighter paramedic Matthew Goodenough to share about some of the challenges they faced during their 2-week deployment.
Hello, everyone. My daughter's looking at me like, oh, Dad's the one talking now. Okay, this is cool. All right. My name is Matthew Goodenough, and I proudly work as a firefighter paramedic on Engine 31, Rescue 31 here in downtown on C Platoon, as we get a call. I was assigned to Engine 31 when the request came in for us to go to the Palisades Fire. En route, you could tell that this fire, it was just different. I've been on a few different strike teams going up to Northern California and a few down here in Southern. Just seeing what we were seeing rolling up through Santa Monica, it just felt different. We put a lot of good work into the Palisade community. We had our initial operational period lasting about 50 hours with intermittent rest. And we got dispatched on the second day of our deployment. So it was, needless to say, it was a long 3-4 days. But we worked nonstop. We didn't stop. And we ensured that we could do as much good as we could with what we had. Amid the destruction that we have all seen on the news and social media, I saw a lot of great things that came from this fire. I saw courage and bravery to lead the fight and save the houses we could, and digging our heels in and making every drop of water count for what felt like defenseless houses. And at this time, I'd like to kind of, if you will, acknowledge an honorary guest that we have here that's very special to me and the Engine 31 crew. We have a homeowner that actually is here that we defended one of his houses for and took a stand against these 20-foot flame lengths that Chief Avery was describing. So Mr. Nesburn and Consuela, if you guys wouldn't mind standing up, and we just given them an acknowledgement of being here. And thank you. It means a lot for being here. So I saw deeply human moments during this deployment, one of which was sweeping. Sorry, we'll just give them their moment. I saw deeply human moments like sweeping debris from driveways of homes that are burned. Just deeply selfless human acts just to present properties the best that we could for returning residents. Giving food and water to those that weathered the storm, that hunkered down in their houses, that had been without food and water for days. In the initial fire attack, we are doing our thing, and we look behind us, and you see little small animals hiding underneath our fire engine because they basically assimilated us with safety. They knew that the firemen that were there were basically protecting their area, and they would seek refuge with us. So it spans all throughout all areas here. But we had a call to answer, and that's what we did. And I'm proud of the work that we laid into the Palisade community. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank a few people. First, Engine 31C. You guys are my brothers. I love you guys so much. You guys did awesome, and 2 weeks can be a long time with a few people, but we made the best of it. We had great attitudes, and we had a smile on our faces. I wanted to thank Chief Avery for advocating for us while we were out on that fire. Thank you, Chief. Mayor Pimentel, Mayor Pro Tem, and fellow council members, I wanted to express our appreciation to you for the support during this. Lastly, can I have all fire wives that are here stand up, and all police wives that are also here, if you guys wouldn't mind standing. You guys are the real heroes in this incident because you guys held it down. You can see my 2 kiddos. You guys are the true heroes in this all, and we are forever indebted to holding it down while we are out here, and you guys are strong people, so thank you. And that's it. I appreciate everyone coming out. Thank you for everyone being here.
Thank you, Matt. I'd now like to have Sergeant Jeremy Glunt come up and speak a little bit on behalf of the El Segundo Police Department of their actions and activities at the Eaton Fire.
All right, good morning, and thank you all for being here. My name is Jeremy Glunt, and I am a sergeant with the El Segundo Police Department. I want to begin by acknowledging the extraordinary bravery and dedication of the El Segundo Fire Department. Please join me in giving a heartfelt round of applause to these courageous men and women who worked tirelessly to combat the Palisades Fire. The Palisades Fire was one of the largest wildfires in California history and burned nearly 28,000 acres. And their unwavering commitment to protecting lives and property is truly inspiring. The success of emergency operations like wildfire response depends on seamless collaboration between agencies. During the Eaton Fire in the city of Altadena, the El Segundo Police Department, as part of our Area G platoon, a coalition of 10 local South Bay law enforcement agencies, played a vital role. Throughout this response, 23 officers and supervisors from our department joined forces with others to ensure the safety of evacuated areas, deterred criminal activity, and effectively responded to critical incidents. For 7 days, alongside approximately 75 agencies from across the country, we worked 15 to 16-hour shifts to safeguard lives, homes, and businesses. This effort demonstrated the power of interagency partnerships and our collective dedication to protecting communities during times of crisis. However, this work comes with significant sacrifices. The Area G platoon is a collateral assignment, performed in addition to our regular duties. Responding to disasters often means long hours away from family, enduring extreme physical demands, and facing exposure to hazardous conditions caused by toxic materials like rubber and lithium-ion batteries. Beyond the physical risks, the mental toll is quite profound, as the images of destruction and loss remain etched in our minds. Yet despite these challenges, we continue to answer the call because this is more than just a job. This is a calling. It is a commitment to place the needs of others above our own at a moment's notice, even when it requires profound personal sacrifice. On behalf of the El Segundo Police Department, I extend my deepest gratitude to all our allied agencies for their invaluable partnerships and to all of you for your unwavering support. Together, we stand united, ready to face any challenge we are presented with. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Glunt. I'd like to give, let's give one more round of applause for all the firefighters and police officers here today. Public safety has always been and will always be about teamwork. And there's a tremendous amount of teamwork between our city leadership, all the city departments, and all the citizens of El Segundo. We should appreciate and take pride in that. We should also recognize that we're part of something special in this community. I would like to close this ceremony by thanking all of you for the support you provide as we stay vigilant in our preparation and response in El Segundo and communities throughout the state. Thank you for being here today, and we hope you'll stay for a meet and greet and some refreshments. Have a great day.